UFO control group concealing medical records of people who have been in contact with UFOs. Well, that appears to be the case, at least in some situations. And Ross Coulthart is talking about just that. In one particular case, of course, the famous Rendlesham Forest incident. There was a man who suffered health effects from being in contact with a UFO. And they hid it from, well, us, from the rest of the world. So let's talk about that. Get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, here's Ross talking about it.
Covering the campaign trail with John McCain, the senator. And before John McCain died, he actually gave me a nudge. It was one of the reasons I got into this subject. He gave me a nudge to check out the John Burroughs story because he'd been instrumental. And I'm glad you told this story. He'd been instrumental in pushing to get John Burroughs' medical records released because the US Air Force, as it is wont to do, was trying to hide the medical records that were stopping John from getting the care and the medical service that he needed. It's an amazing story. Do you believe him?
I absolutely believe him. And his medical records are still sealed. I mean, like, I kind of go, if that unsealed the medical records, if you could have seen them, if you could show me something that would make me think differently, fine. But his medical records are still sealed. He can get his medical care if he goes to doctors, military doctors, or sanctioned doctors, but he will never get his medical records. And so that you really have to question why that is the case. And so,
yeah, why are they hiding it if there's nothing to hide, right? And of course, John Burroughs was one of the witnesses for Rendlesham Forest, for the very famous Rendlesham Forest UFO incident. And I'll take you through that a little bit, at least his experience with that. Here is a little bit about his own personal experience in Rendlesham Forest. In a recent interview with the Roswell Daily Record, Burroughs recalled the incident. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning when I was riding around with my supervisor and we saw some strange lights. He originally saw something coming out of the sky into the forest. That got my attention, and it was in the forest. We drove off base to get a better idea before we called anything in. Of course, this is in the UK, but these are U.S. military personnel from a U.S. base. So we drove off base to get a better idea before we called anything in, and when we got to the end of the road, it was where you were forced to go left or right. I got out of the vehicle and everything seemed strange. There was static electricity in the air. Things didn't seem right. We returned to the gate and we knew we had to report it, so we called it in. They sent a security supervisor down because we were law enforcement. Security was sent down to evaluate. They took a look and they saw the same stuff, saw strange lights. There were some blue, green, and yellow lights and a white light. They contacted some radar sites which confirmed that there was something seen on the radar that disappeared into the forest. Burroughs would approach the strange lights on 2 separate nights. I remember, the only thing I can tell you is that on the first night and the third night, both people I was with claimed that I was gone. It was the first night the object was over me. They could see the light on me, affecting me the third night. Adrian Bustinza said I had disappeared, but I don't recall either time, nor do I remember touching it. I remember getting close to it both times. So yeah, there were some interesting things that happened with Rendlesham Forest, people being downloaded information, missing time. It's unclear from some of these missing time episodes whether they were taken somewhere or if being in proximity to the craft actually altered the flow of time. Which is something I got out of one of the stories. But it's unclear, again, if that's what was going down or if these people were taken somewhere. The health effects that John suffered afterwards seems to me like maybe he was taken somewhere. On the other hand, it could signify, just, an accidental exposure to this craft. So, I'm not quite sure. But either way, his health failed after this. and he had to struggle to get benefits. They were concealing his records. His records were classified. One of the main issues for Burroughs receiving care was that his medical records were classified. And I'm not going to go through it all, but why would they be hiding his medical records if there was nothing to hide? Some people think the UFO at Rendlesham was human in origin. But since people were being downloaded with hieroglyphics, I tend to think it was something else. Jim Penniston was the one that was receiving the download, and he co-wrote a book with John Burroughs and Nick Pope. But really compelling, fascinating information. Obviously, something went down there. Really great case with really credible witnesses, multiple military personnel having these experiences, whether it was time dilation or missing time due to an abduction or receiving downloads. It was a multi-day event. Again, with multiple witnesses, just an incredible encounter. And, sadly, John had these health effects afterward. And it didn't help anything that they were concealing and classifying his medical records. Burroughs said in the interview with the Roswell Daily Record that he and another witness, Bustinza, have been granted disability from the U.S. Department of Defense due to their injuries sustained during the Rendlesham Forest incident. That's crazy. I went to National Personnel Records and requested every piece of paper they have on John, and it was coming in slowly, a little bit here, a little bit there. Bennett said in the interview. And finally, I went up to the DOD and I was like, listen, this man's life is on the line because he came out of the military with a heart murmur. He didn't have that when he went in, and he had a slight problem. He's raising his son alone, so he can't mess around with the politics you are playing now. You need to get this guy his benefits. Whether it's top secret, I don't care. And we need to get his benefits, period. This took me like 2 years. It started in August 2013, and in January 2015, they finally sent a letter recognizing that he was in the service. The government's recognition of Burroughs' health issues and their link to Rendlesham Forest U.A.P. encounter marks a significant step forward towards greater transparency. Well, it would if stuff wasn't classified. But yeah, it's something, guys. So yeah, he had this unfortunate encounter with this UFO that left him injured, so much so that he's on disability. So again, a very fascinating and troubling UFO encounter, but I think a very important one. And I love seeing more information about it. And I'm glad that he is receiving medical care and that he is on disability. He certainly deserves it and has earned it after that trying ordeal. But let me know what you think about the government or governments concealing medical records, classifying medical records from people who have had contact experiences. But let me know what you think about it in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I sure appreciate it. Smash the like button and the subscribe button. And of course, the bell, the notification button, to be notified of future videos. The channel is being shadow banned, guys. People are not receiving notifications that the videos are coming out. So be sure to click the bell. Be sure to check the channel for updates. Spread the word so that we can fight this shadow banning. People's comments being deleted. No, it's not me. Typically, it is the algorithm, the shadow banning algorithm, I guess. The same thing that is preventing Cosmic Road from coming up in search results like it should, and the same thing that is preventing people from receiving notifications when new videos come out. Also, people report that they are being unsubscribed without their knowledge. So be sure to check your subscription. Like and subscribe, buy some merch in the merch store, become a channel member, and there's plenty of other videos on the channel. I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.